we should keep helping, right? We should.
I feel like we should keep helping. The only thing that scares me, really, to be honest with you, is the fact that Russia is such a superpower. So as much as Ukraine's been able to hang, right, and do all the things they've been doing, the part that scares me is at what point do they say, all right, we're going to go nuclear, right?
Right.
Because at that point, I mean, we might be doing World War III, so I'm not the president for that reason because I wouldn't know how to engage with something.
What would you do if you were the president of the United States?
Man, that's a question in itself. Sneakily help.
Sneakily help?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Russia, you're a big friend, and then, no, you go fight.
I don't know if I'd even say that, but I'd just be like, this is like, like, if you get caught, that's like, I wouldn't know how to. Like, I feel like you should help in a situation like that. But risking a World War III is huge too.
And that's a smart thing you said, because it's a good thing. Like, a lot of time, what people do, they do sneakily right now. And I think for that reason, like, you know, when United States said, oh, we're sending Patriot to Ukraine, at that point, they already sent Patriot, right? So they already tested it. They saw that it's working. Russia didn't say anything. And then they announced, oh, okay, we have Patriot. So, and Russia is doing a lot of things sneakily, you know, for that same reason, because they are afraid of world sanctions. They don't want their economy go completely underground, you know. So they're doing a lot of sneaky stuff. So this is a war right now. It's they call it hybrid war, you know, because there's still, we live in a global economy, right? And so much is intertwined, you know. But yeah, that's the way to do it in a way.
And see, that's the funny part about it, because, like you said, that you don't get to see everything that really happens, you know. So, say for example with Russia, you know. I feel like it kind of goes back to propaganda, because the things that they say, okay, well, hey, they're doing quite well with sanctions because of BRICS.
Yeah.
And so it makes us feel like, oh, okay, well, if you're doing this well under sanctions, what are the sanctions really doing at this part? Because they're getting oil from all these other places, right?
Yeah.
Well, so it's like, what do you do in a situation like that besides war? You hit them financially, but they have allies.
Ukraine lately has been targeting Russian oil refinery stations in Russia, like really deep in a Russian country. And at this point, they reported they lost 13% of their oil production potential right now. They lost 13% of that, which has been the greatest kind of accomplishment of anyone in the world on sanctions, no sanctions. They just did it but they did it with Western weapons, you know. So as long as we give Ukraine weapons, they're able to accomplish these incredible feats, you know, where they cripple Russia where it hurts the most, like with the oil and stuff like that.
Right. Man, I think that's, I hate to say it, right? Because it's like, I think in a worldly sense, I think that's really awesome because they stick up for themselves, but it sucks that that's what's got to happen for peace.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I don't, in a sense where it's like, you know, man, you have to fight or kill or do all this type of damage. It sucks not to sound like a hippie, you know what I mean? But I'm sorry that happened, but at the same time, I feel like Ukraine deserves its independence.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they've had, that's what they have, they're fighting for themselves, you know, and I feel like everybody in the world should be able to respect that.
Right, but you also brought up an important point, like there is that kind of concern that Russia has nuclear weapons, right? And they are threatening using those.
Right.
They are saying, like, let us just take Ukraine, or we're gonna use nuclear weapons, right? And that's a bargaining chip that Russia is using, that we might start a nuclear war. But at the same time, like, anybody can just say, oh, we have nuclear weapons, we're just gonna take this country. You know, it has to stop somewhere.
It comes different because it comes from Russia.
Right.
You know, as a country, we've had altercations with Russia. And even more so, they have, with the two places, they have enough nukes to do whatever they want to do with the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, of course, they send a nuke, it's not like we're not going to send a nuke back, right? But what's going to happen, how far is that going to go, how well is the person's mind space to do so.
Right.
And so I feel like it can come with a tremendous amount of issues.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's a serious thing, and it has complications, consequences for the whole world.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And I wish I had all the answers. I don't.
I really don't. I feel like they should get some type of help, right? But you know, when it comes to World War III, how many other people? It's a really touchy situation. I don't think he has all of his marbles.
Who? Putin?
I don't think he has all of his marbles.
Putin thinks he's a messiah. You know, at this point, he's been in power over 24 years, and he just got elected. Today is the last day of election. They already counted like 90% of for Putin, 87, I think.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, his power is unopposed in Russia. He doesn't have any opposition.
Right.
He can do whatever he wants, and he feels very good about himself. He feels like he's bringer of like justice and historical kind of righteousness. Like everything that he rights the wrongs of history in his own words, right?
How do you take somebody like that in without a nuclear war?
I don't know. Obviously, I don't want nuclear war, right? And I don't know what they want, but they will try to tell us, listen, we're gonna do a nuclear war. And if we flinch, they will keep pushing this. We have to, at some point, we have to say, hey, listen, you cannot bully us with your nuclear weapons. You know, we also have nuclear weapons. You have to play by the rules. You know, you cannot kill people just willy-nilly like that. That's my opinion, you know. Sometimes somebody has to have balls, you know, and character and courage. Because it's scary. I'm scared. You know, it's scary to think about this. They can use nukes, we can lose all our life, everything that we built that's great to us and we cherish, right? And they know we value this. They know we like our comforts, like our iPhones. They talk about this. Hey, they're not gonna give up their comfort. We should like keep pushing it, you know? Like we're gonna destroy everything you love, you know?
I agree with what you said 100%. I don't even want to say as a male, but like character, that's important. It's hugely important. You know, so it's like, to what point? Because you're right, you have to have a backbone. You have to say, hey, this is what's right, and stand for it. But you also know the consequences too.
Yeah, consequences, and you should be able, you should be able to deal with consequences. Like at some point, like let's say if it's a street fight, right? Like let's say I go down the street, I don't want to fight, but at some point I may have to, and the consequences, I may get my ass beat, I may die, you know, but at some point I will have to accept those consequences, even though I did not start it. But if I don't do it, I will also face consequences. Like what if you don't defend yourself, it doesn't mean it's just gonna go away. Sometimes you have to do it. I'm just thinking, you know, and by the way, I appreciate what you said. And speaking as a man, you know, you understand like how this thing works, because Putin is a judo guy. He bullies people. He comes in with his suit and his smile and his gangster talk. It's Russian gangster, so it's a little different than what we have over here. But it's still, and Russians love it. And they say, hey, did you hear how he answered to that world leader? You know, you know, fuck that guy, you know, in a way. And he like relishes in that persona and that style, and he succeeds. He succeeds. I mean, look, I speak to a lot of people. A lot of people are scared of Russia, right? He succeeds by just being, you know, this bully and having nukes and not being afraid to do this. And at what point and who is gonna stop this, right? Yeah, because we're also divided. In Russia, Russia is very united. Russia is one uniform body. There's not like Republicans, Democrats, there's nothing like that. There's like one voice, one country, like Germany, like one Führer, one country, ein Volk, all that stuff.
That's why I've also heard, that's why I said propaganda, because I've also heard that the people of Russia don't even agree with the people.
That's not true.
See, propaganda.
I mean, I bet you, even here on this strip, if I do enough interviews, I will find some people from Russia who live here and they say, hey, I kind of agree with what Putin is doing.
You should do that. Not saying that you're wrong.
I'm trying
I think that definitely makes nice content, because at the end of the day, which from what I look at it is horrible. I don't agree with the bully. I don't agree with the bully at all. I don't respect it. You're doing that to people, especially for people that are innocent. I really feel like you should live with love, but at some point, like, man, I wish you could do things the way Jesus did, for real. Like, that's the way but in this type of world and society.
Jesus is a superhero, and we have to do with what we have. We don't have superpowers. We just have us, we have each other. Part of why we're doing this, we want people like you to speak, and we want other people to hear you. Maybe we're not so different. Maybe we're more united, and maybe it's not so easy to bully us and scare us as a nation. Because we're so divided. We don't have a voice right now. Like in Congress, one person says one thing, another says another thing. We don't know what's what. We don't know what's happening, and we have a doom of nuclear annihilation hanging over our heads. And we're just simple people. And that's why I like that we have this opportunity. That we can speak to you. You can say what you feel, and maybe, we're more united than we think. And maybe we have more courage than Russia thinks.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree when it comes down to it. I think it's one of those things where, sadly, me, myself, in other aspects, right? But there comes a time where people only do it when it affects them. When they bomb this place, or they do the same thing that's happened in Ukraine here, that's a different thing. But when it's somebody else,
right,
that's something different.
Yeah,
right.
I hear it.
So if they bomb this place and everybody's like, oh no, we gotta do something.
At that point, it's gonna be too late.
At that point, right. And so that's the line. And no lie, I could be better because I don't always put myself in a person's shoes, and that's where I got to get better as a person. But I can definitely feel what's going on right there.
Yeah,
I can definitely. I've actually been rooting for Ukraine since number one. Since I first came on it, can't say since day one, but since I found out about the news. And then as it happened later on, I'm like, look at them go, look at them go. You know what I mean?
They're doing great. They're on the field of battle. Russia just doesn't stand a chance. As long as you give Ukraine weapons, Russia doesn't stand a chance. They're doing great.
Which is why
they're very motivated. Yeah. So to your point, as you said that people only care about this when it starts concerning them. Just from your feeling, like how you feel, does it feel like after Russia and Ukraine war started, it's never been the same for us here?
In a few ways. Say, for example, gas. The way we feel about the situation, the money that's pumped in there. Right?
Yeah.
Say, for example, the way we engage or feel about Russia. I feel like Russia was always kind of like one of those things where there's always been tension, right? But it becomes a tricky situation because Ukraine says, hey, we want to be NATO. And Biden's like, well, you can become NATO after all that comes.
Right. Well, technically you cannot join NATO if you have open conflict. Right. And partially that's why Russia the clock is running short. Pretty soon Ukraine will join NATO, so we have to strike now. That was kind of the idea. But I kind of felt like it's never been the same ever since they started. For my daily life, prices have changed. The way people kind of behave and treat each other has changed. The world is changing. So much antagonism in the politics. It's not going away, is what I'm saying, and it's already affecting us. It's just not in a way that you would expect. Like, we don't have bombs falling on our streets, thank God. But it has started, and it is affecting us, I think.
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that, man. It might not affect me, like not to become insensitive. In my daily life, and this is what's probably the problem, right? And I'll go out and say it about myself. Me personally, I'm so worried about my individual family.
Right.
When something like that happens, that's my primary focus. So my whole world is on my family, and I'm not personally thinking about what's going on out there. I feel horrible that it happens, but I'm so busy trying to keep my family together because that's what means everything to me. The messed up part is that there's so many families it's happening to, and you can't put yourself in their shoes until you go through it. You can be empathetic and feel like that, but to say, I remember something I felt, right? If something like that happened to the family that I had, right, and somebody bombed, or when I had a family, when I had my significant other, or something happened to my dog, for me, the type of man that I am, that means everything.
Right.
I mean everything.
Yeah.
There is nothing you would be able to do in the world where I don't put myself on the line. So when all those fathers were leaving their family to go deal with and go help that situation, I identify with that. So 100% isn't enough.
Right.
Because you will do whatever you can when it's different when something happens around here.
Yeah.
When it happens to your family, when it's real, your kids are worrying about what's going to happen, or if they're safe, or if your girl's safe, or something happens. And as a man, you want to protect your family so much, you will do anything.
Yeah, if your family is not safe, nothing else matters.
So I felt that one in my heart. So for that, that shows how I feel, where I'm coming from. I'm sorry that it happened. Just all the respect. I wish it wasn't the situation it was.
Right.
But I can understand.
Yeah. So going forward, do you have any ideas of obviously how we want to end this?
That is why I'm not a politician. I have no clue.
Listen, you're in Sacramento. You're in the capital of our state.
Right.
Maybe tomorrow something ticks you off so much that you go to the street and you say, I'm going to change this, vote for me. And maybe tomorrow you are a governor. You never know.
My decision making.
You were born in this country, you can be a president. I cannot be a president, but I can be your running mate. No, I'm kidding.
I wish it was like that, but then again, I don't, because my situations under pressure, when it really affects me, it's easy if it's basketball or playing some type of sport, even fights for that matter. But when it's something really important like your family, I don't have that same composure. So to say that I would be able to guide.
But in a way, a composure is more important when the stakes are so high. Of course, it's hard to concentrate and you have to think fast. But that's the most important thing when something affects you directly, right? The composure is most important at that critical moment.
See, that's it. If it affected me where that happened, I'm gonna go straight out and do exactly what all those other men did.
Right.
And I hate to say it because I really want a peaceful approach, and that's where I need more perception and understanding.
Right.
Because hopefully there's a way you can work around that. Maybe wish there was something that you could say before you say, all right, well, it happened, so we're here, so one of us isn't coming back,
Right.
And so that's really what
Do you have any ideas for the future? Maybe if you have to dream, and in the perfect world, how is everything gonna turn out?
Perfect world.
In a perfect world.
Russia gets all the way out of Ukraine.
Get the fuck out, Russia.
Man, yeah.
All right.
That's really how that would go.
All right.
So,
that's a good message. Thank you so much for speaking to us today. Good luck.